introduce two Air Force ROTC cadets that are with us tonight. Cadet Heinrich, junior at Midwest City, and Cadet Briones, also a junior in Midwest City. They'll be leading us in our pledge. Cadet Briones plans to attend University of Central Oklahoma when he graduates, and Cadet Heinrich is still up in the air. He may do military, or he may go to college. But either way, Mr. Sullivan, I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order, and could you come down and lead us in the invocation, please? Please stand.
Would you bow with me, please? Father God, we thank you so much for the beauty of this day that we've enjoyed today, Lord, and we thank you for the occasion of this council meeting. Father, we ask that your wisdom and discernment be upon the hearts of these men and women tonight, and Father, that their decisions would be ones that would be for the good of the whole. Father, we thank you for this beautiful community that you've blessed us with, Lord, and beautiful state and great nation. And Father, we're so thankful for men and women who are willing to defend our freedoms and protect us, and who are all over the world tonight ensuring freedom that we enjoy in this great land. Father, protect them, give them comfort and peace, and Father, their families while they're away as well, Lord. Father, we thank you so much for your Son, Jesus. We thank you for that sacrifice and the great example of service that you set for our lives by giving your Son for us. We ask all of these favors in his holy name. Amen.
Okay. We still ask that you remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
You may be seated. Got the photo up. Okay, we have community-related announcements. We've got a lot going on in Midwest City coming up in the next couple of months. First off, the 27th will be Trick or Treat City in Joe B. Barnes Park from 2 to 4:30. The whole community is invited to that. We also have a food drive going on at Sam's Wholesale. Our community initiative folks run that. And you can go by and they'll hand you a list of things that they need, and if you'll consider buying it when you're in Sam's and drop it off at the front door as you come out, those donations go to help our needy families in our community. St. Matthew Church over on Air Depot in the 400 block of North Air Depot will be having a trunk or treat party in their parking lot on Sunday, this coming Sunday. Also, Midwest City will be celebrating, if you want to call it that, Halloween on actually the 31st, which is Wednesday. Coming up in November, we have November 9th, of course, we'll be officially dedicating the C-47 monument in Joe B. Barnes Park with the plaques that actually tell the story of that aircraft as it rolled off the assembly line in Tinker in World War II to its present day, where it's sitting now. On November 11th, on a Sunday at 2 o'clock, the C-47 dedication will be at 9 o'clock in the morning. On November 11th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the Vietnam Memorial in front of Midwest City High School will be dedicated and memorializing the 22 Midwest City bombers that died in Vietnam. And again, that'll be at 2 o'clock. And of course, on November 12th, which is a Monday, is Veterans Day, and we'll have our 7th annual Veterans Day parade here in Midwest City. Are there any other community-related announcements?
I'd just
Order
like
in the
to
horseshoe.
make recognize our Fire Chief, Bert Norton. Bert was recently selected and as the new Vice President to the Oklahoma State Fire Chiefs Association. So, good job, Bert.
Okay, we've got about 4 proclamations we need to do. That makes it easier. Can everybody hear me? James Long, can you come down to the front, please? I thought we already did this once, didn't we? Whew. Reverend Long. James is just one of many examples of the quality employees that Midwest City have had, and it's sad to see you retire. I'm sure you won't reconsider. This is the last shot. No? But what we like to do is we like to recognize our employees as they make that transition into retirement, and James has been a stellar employee that, well, there's no words to describe it, so I'll try to mutter through this, James. Whereas Mr. James Long began his employment with the City of Midwest City on February 11th, 1980 as a route service person and retired on August 8th, 2018 as a residential route coordinator. And whereas from the beginning of his career, he has been a leader and devoted to enhancing the quality of life for the Midwest City community, with such actions as being among the first to complete the formal sanitation training program, which resulted in our city having one of the most professional and hardest working divisions in eastern Oklahoma County. And whereas he committed to providing his co-workers with a positive work environment where he was admired and respected for becoming a supervisor after working from the bottom, doing whatever he was asked to do without complaint. Whereas he loves Midwest City and its residents, choosing to put his needs of his customers ahead of his own every single day he came to work. And whereas he is considered an ambassador for sanitation, and no one takes more pride in their job the way he does. He is an incredible asset to the city of Midwest City and an example not only to his subordinates but his peers as well. And he will be greatly missed. Whereas his example of customer service is and always will be the gold standard for all present and future employees and should aspire to. So therefore, I, Matt Dukes, Mayor of Midwest City, do hereby proclaim October 23rd as James Long Day. I hired on 3 years after he did, and see that smile? I never saw him without that smile, every time. Okay, this is just one that we do every year. It's whereas in the city of Midwest City is a community which acknowledges that a special vibrancy exists within the entire community, and its individual citizens collectively go the extra mile in personal effort, volunteerism, and service. Whereas we're a community which encourages its citizens to maximize their personal contribution to the public by giving of themselves wholeheartedly, committing to their individual ambitions, family, friends, and society. Whereas Midwest City wishes to thank all those individuals and organizations within our community that go extra mile in order to make a difference. Whereas the City of Midwest City acknowledges the mission of the Extra Mile America to create 575 extra mile cities in America and is proud to support the Extra Mile Sit that day on November 1st, 2018. Now, therefore, I'm Matt Dukes, the Mayor of Midwest City. You hereby proclaim November 1st as Extra Mile. We were supposed to do this in Norman last weekend, and we got rained out. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
But they're here tonight, and they're with the Women in Aviation Association out at OU, and they celebrated Girls in Aviation Day last weekend, and we were supposed to do a proclamation for them, and like I said, we got rained out, so we're going to do it tonight. So whereas the United States is recognized as a global leader in aerospace safety, efficiency, and innovation, and that the aerospace industry is dependent upon a skilled workforce to maintain the exemplary level of quality, and whereas Midwest City particularly recognizes the importance of the aerospace industry in our economic prosperity, national security, and safety of the United States. Whereas women have been involved in aviation since its earliest days, from Eve Lily Todd, who designed and built aircraft in 1906, to Harriet Quimbley, the first woman to earn a pilot certificate crossing the English Channel in 1911, to Bessie Coleman, the first Native American and African American to obtain a pilot's license in 1921, to Helen Ritchie, the first woman pilot for a U.S. commercial airline in 1934, to astronaut Sally Ride, the first American woman in space, to Jana Yeager, who co-piloted the first non-stop, non-refueled flight around the world in 1986, to astronaut Elaine Collins, the first female space shuttle pilot in 1997, and the first female shuttle commander in 1999. Whereas it is agreed that the path to increasing participation is through the collaborative effort of government, industry, and dedicated organizations and individuals designed to inspire girls to pursue aerospace-based goals, prepare female students through quality aerospace STEM curriculum, and expose girls to positive female roles. And so therefore, I, Matt Dukes, Mayor of Midwest City, do hereby proclaimed October 13th as Girls in Aviation Day in Midwest City.
Thank you so much.
Now, these are both aspiring young pilots, and we'll be seeing them in the cockpit of a big old airplane. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Okay, I swear this is the last one. But an important one is that. Whereas a century ago, 4.7 million American families sent their sons and daughters off to World War I. And whereas more than 85,000 Oklahomans from every background served selflessly and honorably in World War I. And whereas many of the Oklahoma troops served in the 42nd Infantry Division, the 90th Infantry Division, the 36th Infantry Division, and produced the famed code talkers, who transmitted messages in their tribal languages and code the enemy couldn't decipher. And whereas 116,516 Americans, including 1,064 Oklahomans, gave their lives in the war, and more than 200,000 were wounded. Whereas on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, an armistice to the fighting was declared. Whereas the tolling of bells is a traditional expression of honor and remembrance. Whereas the U.S. World War I Centennial Commission has called upon Americans across the nation to honor and remember those who served. Therefore, it shall be resolved that the city of Midwest City and the state of Oklahoma does hereby call upon the citizens and institutions of our community to toll the bells in remembrance of the armistice at 11 a.m. local time on 11th of November 2018. Again, obviously, the 11th of November is significant. That's when we now celebrate Veterans Day, but in the war that was to end all wars, we paid a heavy toll in the state of Oklahoma. And if you happen to think about it, at 11 o'clock on the 11th of November, say a little prayer for those who lost their lives. Thank you. Well, now we can get on with doing the city business. We'll move into our consent agenda. These items are placed on the consent agenda so the council, by unanimous consent, can approve routine agenda items by one motion. If any item proposed does not meet with the approval of all the council or members of the audience wish to discuss an item, it will be removed and heard in regular order. Chair to entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion and I have a second. Any further discussion on the consent agenda?
Oh, okay.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. We move into the discussion item of our agenda.
First item is PC 1971, discussion consideration of approval of the final plat of Nider Edition, described as a part of the southeast quarter of Section 31, Township 12 North, Range 1 West, addressed as 10712 Northeast 4th Street. Mr. Harless?
Yes, sir. This is a little 1 acre parcel that we've seen as with many lots in this neighborhood that is being divided up into 3 parcels. It's at Northeast 4th and Timber. It meets all the requirements for final plat. Planning Commission and staff recommend approval. We'll be glad to answer any questions.
This is a public hearing. Does anyone have anything to bring before the council on this discussion item? Hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Next item.
This is D2, PC 1972, public hearing with discussion consideration of approval of a resolution for a special use permit to allow the use of eating establishments, sit-down alcohol beverages in the C3 Community Commercial District for the property described as a part of the southwest quarter of Section 3, Township 11 North, Range 2 West, located at 1114 South Air Depot, Suite 2. Mr. Harless?
Yes, as we've seen with some previous establishments, this is just to tidy up from the change in the liquor laws to one of our current establishments, so recommend approval.
This is a public hearing. Does anyone have anything to bring before the council on this particular matter? Hearing none, the chair to entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Next item.
Item D3, PC 1973, public hearing with discussion consideration of approval of an ordinance to rezone from R6 single-family detached residential to R2F two-family attached residential, and a resolution to amend the comprehensive plan from LDR low-density residential to MDR medium-density residential for the property described as Lot 9 of the Beach Acres addition, addressed as 8707 Northeast 10th Street. Mr. Harless?
Yes, sir. This is a 16,000 square foot lot that's been vacant for some time up on Northeast 10th and Beach, the northeast corner. The property was donated to a ministry, Change Point Ministries, and they would like to market it as for a duplex. I feel that has a better market for that. Planning Commission and Council, or I'm sorry, Planning Commission and staff recommend approval. And we'd also like to add that only driveways be permitted off onto the beach should this be approved. Recommend approval.
This is a public hearing. Does anyone have anything to bring before the council on this particular item? Hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion.
Motion to pass, subject to staff recommendations about how the access on Beach Street is.
Exception is noted.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, and the exception is noted. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Next item.
This is PC 1974, public hearing with discussion consideration of approval of a resolution for a special use permit to allow the use of eating establishments, sit-down alcoholic beverages in the C3 Community Commercial District for the property described as a part of the southwest quarter of Section 24, Township 12 North, Range 2 West, located at 9205 Northeast 23rd Street, Suites 3 and 4. Mr. Harless?
Again, just another establishment that's being brought into compliance with the state liquor laws. Be glad to answer any questions.
This is a public hearing once again. Does anyone have anything to bring before the council on this item? Hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Next item.
This is PC 1975, public hearing with discussion consideration of approval of a resolution for a special use permit to allow the use of drinking establishment, sit-down alcoholic beverages in the C3 Community Commercial District for the property described as a part of the southwest quarter of Section 3, Township 11 North, Range 2 West, located at 904 South Air Depot Boulevard. Mr. Harless?
Yes, this is a little bit of a curveball. This is a proposed establishment that's being brought into compliance with the existing laws. So staff recommends approval, and Planning Commission recommends approval, and be glad to answer any questions.
This is a public hearing on this item. Does anyone have anything to bring before council? Hearing none, chair would entertain a motion. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Next item.
This is PC 1976, discussion consideration of approval of the preliminary plat of Florence Estates for the property described as a part of the northeast quarter of Township of Section 1, Township 11 North, Range 1 West, located in the 400 block of South Post Road. Mr. Harless?
The council is somewhat familiar with this, as it's been through a council approximately a year ago and was rejected due to drainage issues. Staff has been working with the applicant after their waiting period in order to bring it into compliance. They did not have everything worked out at the time of the Planning Commission, so Planning Commission had that tabled, and we're requesting that it also be tabled here so that we can continue public hearings at the next Planning Commission and Council meeting.
Move to table.
Motion to table.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Articles tabled. Next item.
This is discussion consideration of an update regarding ongoing OG&E street lighting maintenance issues. This will also include a presentation by OG&E regarding the rollout of their new LED lighting program. Nicole?
Thank you. Am I going to give the update on the maintenance, or do you want?
No, we'll let you do the
Presentation and then-
presentation
okay.
first, okay?
So wanted to talk to you guys tonight about the rollout of the LED lighting program that OG&E has been working on. We rolled that out here in the metro area in September. Is there a clicker? Okay. So as you're aware, technology is advancing. We've had multiple conversations that we're not able to maintain some of the existing infrastructure because it's being phased out as new technology comes in. So we've seen an opportunity to improve the existing infrastructure that we have. So as I mentioned, it's getting difficult to source those high pressure sodium lights that we have out there today. There's also increased costs with doing that, so we're having to identify alternate suppliers and the costs are higher. And then also, as we begin to roll out LED lighting, there are energy efficiencies that come with that. So the assets are a little bit more expensive because we'll talk about this, but they are smart LED lights, but you will, on the back end, get the energy efficiencies of that. So currently today, under the old tariff that OG&E had, we had two situations in there. We had OG&E owned lights, so the city could call us, we'd come out and install a light for you. The asset is owned by OG&E, the city pays a monthly rate on that. We also had a section in there that was a maintenance component, and basically we maintained city-owned lights. So when ODOT puts in lights, they're commissioned over to the city commissions them to us, and then we maintain them for you. So as we go forward, the monthly maintenance rate that was assessed under the old tariff, we are no longer offering that for LED lighting. So LED lighting is only being installed for OG&E owned assets. And so what we came and talked about was what are we going to do with lights that the city currently owns today? So as those lights fail, there's basically two options, and obviously we would like you guys to choose the first option. So as lights fail, we will come out, take down that city-owned light, and put up an OG&E-owned LED light. We will own the fixture only, and the city will pay the rate that's associated with that, and the tariff based off the different type of light, those rates vary. Some of the benefits of that is that currently today on city-owned lights, the tariff only covers a couple components. So if the complete fixture fails and we have to put up a new fixture, the city is billed for the cost of that fixture. We're maintaining the lamps, ballast, and glassware for the city today under the maintenance tariff. Going forward, when a city-owned light fails, we come out and we put up an OG&E-owned LED light. At any time, if anything happens to that fixture, we're going to come out and put up a brand new fixture, and there's no additional cost to the city. So you're going to pay whatever the monthly rate is for that light, no matter what. And that varies from $4 to $8 or so.
Nicole,
Yes.
And Vaughn, you may need to help out a little bit on this. We actually do not have very many city-owned utility streetlights.
Do not have very many
So
city-owned utility streetlights.
this particular
It's a-
situation will not present itself very often.
That's
Correct. Yes.
Basically, the only ones that the city owns are those that were commissioned by ODOT from about Sooner Road to Southeast 29th on I-40. Everything else within the city, am I correct?
Correct.
Everything
is
else within the city
already
is
OG&E
owned by OG&E.
Yes,
Right.
correct.
We do
Center
have
and Will Rogers, I'm sorry.
the streetlights on Will Rogers and Center, which are part of the Reed Center project.
And then the second option is if the city elects, they can take over maintenance of those lights that OG&E is maintaining for you today. And so, as I mentioned, we think that our LED program is a great option. Some of the benefits of that is we feel we're the experts. We have dedicated resources for lighting. I hope that we've seen, those improvements in maintenance over the past several months as we've really tried to form this partnership with City of Midwest City. We're also able to now proactively manage maintenance. So we are installing smart lights. The lights have a controller on the top of them, and they communicate back with a system we have at OG&E called Streetlight Vision. So we will know before you know when your street lights are out. And so what that means is we'll get that notification, we will automatically create a ticket, and we'll dispatch a truck. And really the first thing we'll try to do is fix the light remotely. So is there a communication error? What's going on? We'll try to fix it remotely. If we can't, we'll roll a truck to fix that light. We also have preferred vendor partnerships. So we have an opinion that we can source those materials for better pricing than the city would if they were to maintain their own lights. Also, we're able to provide enhanced reporting capabilities going forward. So there is a lot of reporting that we can now get out of SLV, that system, the Streetlight Vision system, that we can supply to you guys if you're wanting to understand failure rates or different things. Also, the fixtures themselves have a 10-year warranty from the supplier. So they're warranted for 10 years. And the controllers, the device that communicates back with us, is warranted for 5 years. So we are expecting better performance of those assets in the field. As I mentioned, it's more advanced technology. And also one more point on that, and you're fine, you can stay on that slide. I know one of the challenges we've had is the auditing back and forth. We are able to now do live auditing with this, so at any given time we can pull this up and tell you exactly where your lights are. Every light, every pole will be uniquely identified. It will be mapped in our GIS system, which is connected back to that, and at any time we can do a live audit. That's something, a functionality that we do not have today.
So will you make available to our GIS that exact same map so we can mirror it at any time?
Absolutely, kind of like we've been trying to do. I mean, we've made the data available. I think it's just hard for them to decipher some of the data, but yeah, I mean, we've tried to create that transparent relationship. So the OG&E LED program, kind of a summary. There is a new rate based on the type of light. So if you just had maintenance before, you will see a rate increase there, a couple dollars additional per month. The poles will still remain city-owned. So if we put up a fixture, that pole is still city-owned. We will still maintain that pole for the city as we do today under that maintenance tariff, but as you're aware, if a pole is hit that is city-owned, if we come out and put up a new pole, the city is paying that, which most of the time you're recovering it through an insurance company, but that cost does go back to the city. And then, like I mentioned, there would be no additional charges or repairs for those fixtures going forward. They're OG&E owned. Anytime something happens, there's no additional charges to the city. And then if the city elected to provide maintenance for those lights, then OG&E would just no longer maintain those lights for the city. So we think that, I mean, we've looked at cost-benefit analysis for all of our cities. All of our cities are very different with what the split looks like, how many are city-owned versus OG&E owned. And we believe that we will save you money. We have data to show we can save you money. If you look at the fact that we take the phone calls, we dispatch the resources, we order the supplies, when you really start to look at the whole cycle of that, we believe that we will save you money, and we would like to put up an OG&E owned LED light as the city-owned lights fail. And then also just leverage our expertise. We've got some great new software in, some new technology in. We really believe that this is going to greatly benefit the city. There should no longer be a need once all the assets are changed out to do audits anymore. We'll know, like I mentioned, proactively when a light is out. As far as the lights that the city has today that are OG&E owned, we are doing that. We are transitioning those to LED through an attrition program. So what that means is that as a light fails, we will come out and put up an OG&E owned LED light. The city can elect to have us put up the LED lights before failure. However, there is a one-time conversion fee that would be assessed that is roughly $180 per light. If you run the light to failure, we'll come out and put up an OG&E owned LED light, and there is no additional charge to the city.
Sorry. Say we identify a mile that we would like to change the lights out, and we pay the $180. Will we have a reduced monthly fee because we've offset some of your expense as opposed to when they fail?
No, the $180 is really what we're calling a conversion fee. It is it's a stranded asset cost. So that asset we have in the field, because it has not failed, now we've got capital tied up in stranded assets, and that's what the $180 is covering. It's not buying down the new equipment.
So you're not gonna wholesale come out and start replacing lights? We're just gonna do it as a failure rate?
Correct. Where you're going to see some more wholesale changeouts, and I think this is important for you guys to know, is we have 480 volt circuits. So like all your highway thoroughfare type lighting is on 480 volt circuits. There is not an LED option for 480 volt. So when one light fails on a circuit of lights, so you could have anywhere from 10 lights to 60 lights on a circuit or more. When one light fails, we have to change out all of those lights. We've made a decision that it's not fair to assess the customer that, so we are going to eat all of those costs if one light fails on a circuit. We will come out and change out that whole circuit. Where I'm going to ask for your guys' patience is that we have a lot of, lights are going to fail on circuits every single day, and so we're having to prioritize to get all of those converted out. Those are massive projects. We have secured additional resources. We have them on, but you may see a light that's out for 3 or 4 weeks on a circuit of lights because we're waiting to change out that whole circuit. That job has to go through engineering. It has to be re-engineered. We have to go put a new transformer up. So I see heads turning, but so we've got a plan, and that's the only piece that you should see. You may have some lights out for a period of time until that circuit's fully converted.
If we're out for 4 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever, you're not charging us a maintenance fee while the lights are out, are you?
It's not lights that are out. It would be a light that was out. Yeah, so if it's reported in the city, we can take that offline and figure out if the city wants a credit for that. Then yeah, we can figure that out through billing.
Okay.
It should not be a super long process. Like I said, we've got inventory in sitting, waiting to be deployed as this happens.
So I misunderstood you then. You have a circuit of 10 to 60 lights. With one goes out, it doesn't make all of them go out, just that one.
No, correct. So when that one goes out, I can't, unless I went out and put up another non-LED light, I can't maintain that light because every single light has its own controller, and so I can't go out and put up an LED with that. It won't work. Yeah, when one light goes out, all of them won't be out. Sorry. Any other questions?
So you're saying that if that one light went out, it's going to be, and it's connected to the other lights, it's going to be 3 to 6 weeks, so it could be longer.
It could under certain circumstances, but we're not talking about all 60 of those lights. It would just be that one light that was out.
Okay.
And then we'll come out and change out all the lights to be able to get that one light to work again. So that's where you're going to see some more when the mayor asked the question of proactively. You'll see a whole circuit that's still working today, but you might see us out there tomorrow changing it all out because one light failed. But only that one light would be out until we converted it all.
Just out of curiosity, what's the voltage of the LED lights? I know the ones that are out there are 480, a lot of them.
They're a range from 120 to 277. Yeah.
Quite a reduction.
And the poles won't need to be altered, or it'll purely be the fixture itself.
Correct. We're not doing anything to the poles unless it's a bad pole that's out there.
And the price difference between the existing white-way lighting pole, let's say on an arterial versus an LED?
So it varies by, there's classification. So you've got LED 01, LED 02, LED 03. It's based off the usage, and they vary. I'd tell you, some of the lights go down in cost. So some of them you might be paying $4 today and it goes down to $3.70. And some of them you might be paying $4 today and it goes up to $6. I think the greatest increase was like $6 for a light, and that was on a lower volume that we had in the system. But that tariff's available. I can send you the link to that if you want to look at that. And we did some calculations on what that cost impact is to the city, and Vaughn and I talked about that. So.
And I might add that you talked about wholesale projects or changes that you might see it all at one time. They're also doing the engineering and work for the list of projects that we submitted to them a while back. So.
Yep, and so the delay in that was we had to wait to get all of the equipment specs from the manufacturer. We had to get them uploaded into our system to be able to design the jobs. I think most of the jobs are designed or finishing design. 15th and Post Road is getting ready. It's just waiting for a coordinator in the field to say it's ready for construction. That should happen any day now, and that job will be started. And then Midwest City's jobs are prioritized after that, but they're all in engineering and on their way out. So it wasn't an engineering gap per se. It was we've been waiting to get the manufacturer specs to upload into our system to be able to design the jobs. We have inventory now and we've got all that. So
So are you pretty confident, because there are 6 that we have as a number 1 priority and 4 that we have as a number 2?
well, so we
That in 6 months when we come back again, that you'll be started or finished on many of the number 1s?
we should be, yes, and we've met with them to get priorities of 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, how we're working that. We've secured additional resources to be able to come in and take care of those projects, yes.
So I will say, Councilman Byrne and Councilwoman Eads, we sat with you guys, I don't know, a year and a half ago, and then we sat with you guys and we had some relatively heated discussions. And I talked to Vaughn today, and he says that the way you guys are interacting with him and with the city is night and day different. He says you guys are responding very, very well, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. It is our goal to be a good partner with all of our cities. I think sometimes we've got communication issues, and so I appreciate you guys bringing those to our attention so we could resolve those.
You've completed the change out in War Acres, haven't you?
No, we did a kind of not really a pilot, but that was one of the first projects that we did with the city of Bethany, and it wasn't it's city of Bethany, but on 39th Street there. So yes, we did. We changed out. It was about 100 lights, I think, 150. Changed out very, very quickly. It's less than like 3 minutes to change out the fixture head, so it's not a really long process. Lights are working. They look great. So yeah, if you guys want to see what they look like, you're welcome to drive that stretch, and they're out there.
Is there any further discussion?
Vaughn, do you want to give us a little update on things that you've been working with OG&E?
Well, maybe we may not need this gentleman after a while, Nicole, but we have secured a night auditor, and he'll be on the streets in the next couple of weeks once we can get some software and hardware things worked out for him, and he'll be auditing at night, and he'll be the one directly responsible for communicating with their customer service department. I'll reiterate what I told you, Councilman Reed, this afternoon on the phone, is the communication is much better, and we're seeing great response times on repairs from OG&E, and I think things are vastly improved. One other thing, is it okay for me to talk about mid-block?
Well, it is
Billy?
now.
Well, I usually say no, and I'll go sit down. Well, I wanted you to know that that community development and Public Works have been working together for and with OG&E as well for mid-block solutions within the city. We have a beta out in the field near your house, Mayor, on help me, Guy, Albert, on Albert, approximately 9700 block of Albert. We put up a solar-powered mid-block light just to test it, see how it how well it looks at night, how well the neighborhood responded to it, and we've had very positive review. That is a location that city engineer had received a request for a mid-block light, and it met all the current warrants for a mid-block light. So that's the reason we chose that location. But if you're out and about and you're near Carl Albert High School, you just turn back to the west, right there on the north side of the high school on Albert. Go about a block, and it's just right beside the baseball field there on Albert. You want to take a look at it at night sometime and see how it. We'll do some more testing of some other products. This was actually a manufacturer that OG&E brought to us called Green Shine, and we'll see. We may test a few other products in some other locations as well, so we have some solutions for mid-block lighting as well.
Nicole, could I ask a question? So I understand what will probably be happening along the section line roads. In a neighborhood, how interconnected are the neighborhood lights? I mean, is it likely if you lose one neighborhood light that you're going to to have to put in multiple neighborhood lights, change?
No, sir, not typically. Everything we have is being converted to LED. So security lighting is also being converted to LED, as well as street lighting. So no, most neighborhoods, we can change out the one
light.
The one light, yes. And we do have an LED alternative for everything that we have out in the field. Some may look a little bit different, but I'm assured that to the regular citizen, they can't tell a difference. You'd have to be a lighting expert.
And some of those lights that are out there that are OG&E lights, they're being paid for by private individuals. So how will that work? Will you convert those?
It's the same through attrition. So
Okay.
if their security light fails, we'll go out. If we can't fix it, then we'd put up an LED light in place of that.
Okay.
Just be mindful that if it's not being paid for, so if there's a light out and, that's not being paid for, we don't fix the light, we don't turn it back on. And, we get a lot of complaints, people saying, I've called in this light 10 times, you're not fixing it. And it's because it's not being paid for. It's a security light.
I'll add to that, Council, that we get those phone calls as well, and we'll send someone out to investigate. It's a light that's facing the house. It's on a pole on the street, but it faces the house. Typically means that some homeowner at some point in time requested that of OG&E and had it added to their monthly utility bill. They've moved away or whatever the case may be, and so we just try to make contact with the citizen and inform them, if you want that turned back on, you need to make contact with OG&E to turn that back
So
on.
that's pretty good fast roll. It's turned towards the street, it's ours, it's turned towards the house.
That's correct. Yes, sir. Or in the backyard. Some of them are on utility easements in the backyards as well. You'll see them all over town, especially in the older neighborhoods.
I just wanted to make a comment. So I wanted to echo Councilman Reed's compliment to OG&E folks for all of your efforts, as well as Mr. Sullivan to our own Public Works folks. We had a lot of complaints with regard to the lack of repair on streetlights, and so clearly that system is being well kept in hand, and so we greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one other question. The ones in the neighborhoods, are they going to be the smart lights as well? Are they going to communicate back?
They are.
Wow.
Everything is going to have the smart controller. They'll all communicate back with us.
So just like the meters, so
Correct.
that's cool.
And it
Mayor,
actually
you cannot
enhances-
get your BB gun out and start.
Why would I want to do that?
We've already
Thank you.
anticipated that's going to happen, so.
The ones in the neighborhood are not gonna be changed out until one goes out, and then you go and check.
It'll be through an attrition program as well. As they fail, yes, ma'am, we will change them out.
Nicole, would you like to allude to some of the other capabilities that you have associated with those lights, or no? You don't want to go there right now?
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
In the future, we have designed our IT systems that we will, so we're doing this today, but we now will be able to remotely turn on and off the lights. So today, if a customer asks for a street light, it's called a seal in. Tomorrow, they decide they don't want it. They call us back and say, we want our light turned off. It's called a seal out. We have to roll a truck every single time. Now we can remotely turn the light off and remotely turn the light on. We're also partnering with our cities. So if there's an event, and I think you guys have with fireworks in a park on 4th of July, we're not doing this wholesalely, but we are partnering with our cities and municipalities. We'll turn those lights off for you during that fireworks show, and then we'll turn them back on as soon as that fireworks show is over. So we can set all the schedules, and that's very easy to do, whereas before we would have to roll a truck out, seal them all out, seal them all back in. So we do have just the technology that's associated with them is night and day from where we're at today.
I have a question also. So if you do have a night light, security light on your property, can you request that to be changed out to LED?
You can. There is the conversion fee again. It's like $177, $178. But we will come out and put up an LED light. You would just have to pay the conversion fee.
Unless it fails, is that?
Unless it fails, yes. Do not get a BB gun.
We had as you'll also recall, most all of our park lighting is OG&E owned and maintained as well. So that all comes under this umbrella of their LED program, and over time through attrition it will be changed out. Now, and there are some cases on the trails where if a light fails on a circuit, same rules might apply, where they'll come and convert a whole section of trail lighting to LED because one light is out. So if you jog in the early hours or late evening, you might see one out for a while until they are able to get the entire circuit changed out. So.
Well, thank
Okay.
you so much for being here and giving us the update, and we appreciate the effort being made. It makes our lives a lot easier when we're not having to answer those issues with our constituents. So with that being said, is there any action needed on this particular item?
No, just an update.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Nicole. So did James leave early again? No, he's right there. Okay.
So James, who's your replacement?
Tom McCurdy.
Is he as jovial as you are?
I don't know if anybody exists. The long has left, I'm thinking he might have been.
Well, thank you for your service again, James. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll move on to our last discussion item.
This is discussion consideration of one, purchasing public safety P25 communications equipment in the amount of $89,975.60 from the Oklahoma State-wide contract number SW1053, including the purchase of supporting miscellaneous communications equipment not on state contract in the amount of $3,376.58 from Stoltz Telecom LLC, and two, a resolution for the City Council of the City of Midwest City relating to the expenditure of $89,975.60 for the purchase of public safety P25 communications equipment under the Oklahoma statewide contract number SW 1053 for the 2018-2019 with Harris Corporation acting through Stoltz Telecom LLC as the authorized dealer, including the purchase of supporting miscellaneous communications equipment not on state contract in the amount of $3,376.58 from Stoltz Telecom LLC, indicating the official action of the City Council for the reimbursement of such expenditures by the issuance of tax-exempt general obligation bonds of City of Midwest City, previously authorized at an election held for the purpose on August 28th, 2018, authorizing the purchase. Mr. Rushing, anything you want to add here? This will allow us to purchase some equipment in advance of the issuance of our bonds. This equipment will be placed on the K4 tower in Oklahoma City, and it will provide a second repeater for our police and fire band radios, which will be essential in the event we had a problem with our tower at the water treatment plant. So it gives us backup, good solid backup.
Is there any discussion on this particular item? Hearing none, Chair to entertain a motion. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention. Motion carries. Next item.
This is discussion consideration of the reappointment of Earl Foster, Dean Hinton, Christine Allen to the ADA Transition Plan Committee for an additional 3-year terms.
Any discussion on this item? I understand all three want to be reappointed, so the chair would entertain a motion.
Motion to accept all three.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, move into the new business public discussion of our agenda. Does anyone have anything to bring before the council? Hearing none, The chair would entertain a motion to recess and go into our other two agendas and then come back to the executive session. A motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, call to order the Midwest City Municipal Authority. We have two discussion items on this agenda.
First item is discussion consideration of approving the minutes of the staff briefing and regular meeting of October 9th, 2018 as submitted.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Next item.
That would be discussion consideration of accepting the report on the current financial condition of the Sheraton Midwest City Hotel at the Reed Conference Center for the period ending September 30th, 2018.
Move to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, we move into the new business public discussion of the Midwest City Municipal Authority. Does anyone have anything to bring before the authority? Hearing none, we are hereby adjourned. I call to order the Midwest City Memorial Hospital Authority. We have a consent agenda. These items are placed on the consent agenda so that trustees can, by unanimous consent, can approve routine agenda items by one motion. If any item proposed does not meet with the approval of all trustees or members of the audience wish to discuss an item, can be removed and heard in regular order.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. We have one discussion item.
This would be discussion consideration of action to reallocate assets, change fund managers, or make changes in the statement of investment policy guidelines and objectives. No action is necessary on this item this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, we move into the new business public discussion of the Midwest City Memorial Hospital Authority. Does anyone have anything to bring before the authority? Hearing none, we hereby adjourn. I call to order the Midwest City Council.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to move into executive session. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be moving to executive session and probably will not return.